story, you know, like I haven't had a chance to meet Jessica. I'm going to be meeting her live for the first time. But that clip that we played last show, the clip that we had, I'm going to play it. I've got it lined up.
Yeah.
Well, powerful. And I was just alluding to the fact that, you know, in the carnivore space, everybody says, you know, it's not sustainable, or, you know, the other people say it's not sustainable long term, and it's only good for us a while. And I mean, I'm going to ask the question today, if it can do these miraculous healing things that are impossible, how is that not good later on? You know, like, so all the people that are broken, that got broken arguably by maybe their lifestyle and nutrition, have these healing things, and then they say, what, go back to the thing that broke you? You know, like, you can include carbohydrates, seed oils, processed food.
Je kunt ook gewoon afvallen door in een calorietekort te gaan zitten. Je kunt afvallen door een GLP-1-agonist te nemen zoals Ozempic. Je kunt afvallen door 10 keer per dag te eten. Je kunt afvallen op ultrabewerkt voedsel. Je kan afvallen door te veel te trainen. Je kan afvallen door je eiwitinname te beperken. Je kan zelfs afvallen door minder te slapen. Vond je deze video nou nuttig? Like en volg voor meer.
Everybody working. Everybody tired.
White coats moving room to room. Fantastic smiles under the moon. Coffee cold, sugar quick. Healing hands but the system sick. Break room snacks and bright display. Labels loud but the truth stays great. Trying to save another life while their own feels compromised. Same walls, same food, same cycle, same rules. White coats, sugar walls, healing signs, but we sick in halls. Trying to save lives, losing ours. White coats, sugar walls, sugar walls. Sugar walls. 12-hour shifts, bending glow. Quick relief, but the cost is slow. Charts say numbers, scales don't lie. Heavy load in a healing sight. Nobody asking why it's this way. While the fuel looks like decay. Patch the wound, ignore the cost. Profit hums through hospital doors. Bright lights, soft lights. Good intention, bad supply. White coats, sugar walls. Healing signs, but we sick in halls. Trying to save lives, losing ours. White coats, sugar walls. Not blame, not shame. Just look around. Sugar walls, white coats, sugar walls, white coats, sugar walls, healing signs, but sick.
Well, let's get Mark on here. It's calories, calories, calories. Is it not, or is it about calories? We're going to talk about the calories today, guys. It's a myth that won't die. And is obesity a disease? And if it is a disease, is there a cure? We got a new segment. We're going to bust some myths, and it's called Gone in 60 Seconds. We're going to put us all under pressure. We all can talk, but let's find out if we can do it under pressure. We're going to get into it right now.
Is sick and fucking tired of seeing all the carnivore shit all over these fucking...
I can't even look at a carbohydrate.
Now that I think about it, we probably would.
You know, that it doesn't make sense.
I was tired of the guessing games, faking health, playing diet names, low fat life, vegan soul, but deep inside I didn't feel whole. Then came fire, then came fat, steak on the plate, I bounced right back. No more crashing, no more drag.
You're literally treating your diet like a fucking religion.
Looking forward to talking about this recent controversy. I've already been doing it for over 2 weeks now.
Your fiber intake is fucking zero.
There is a constant in the calculation.
It is the most toxic fucking diet I have ever seen. Ever. It's not healthy. It is far from fucking healthy. Okay? It is the least fucking healthiest thing you could ever do for yourself.
Well, it is Sunday. We are live. We are here. It is the Meat of the Matter podcast. We are every Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. in the UK and Ireland, 7 p.m. in the Netherlands and in Europe. We are on YouTube. We are on Instagram. And now we are on Spotify. If anybody wants to reference it, go to Spotify. We're there. Always a special thanks to Carnivore Beats, Byron Funk. He helps us out with music. We appreciate it. Go to his channels, subscribe. The carnivore community lighting up. The village has been live. I don't know if you guys noticed. Mark, did you get a call this week in the village? They were making phone calls. It was pretty funny.
Happens all the time. I got
a chance to say a quick hi to Everett and Joe, and a shout out to the carnivore community worldwide. We are big supporters of them. Mark is a very big part of it, and we're all part of it because it is our community. So go follow them on Instagram and YouTube, guys. They need the support on YouTube. We all do because this is our movement. This is our way. And, it's the odds are stacked against us. That's for another show. And of course, make sure you go and subscribe to Carnivore Evolution. That's Victoria and Mark's podcast. They go deep into stories and origin stories and journeys. Very, very great. They got some great guests. You guys have been on a roll lately. And just before we get into this, guys, I just wanted to make sure that everybody is aware of the talk that Mark and I had. Unfortunately, Peter wasn't there this week. With Jessica Roman. She's wow, what an amazing talk, Mark. I think that was one for the books, like one up there, and it is on our channel. Go check it out. And of course, you had a chance to sit down with a legend, frankly, Rob Sykes, Keto Savage. That is on our channel as well. Mark, you guys had a great little talk about how he actually found this by accident, which is wild. A bodybuilder of his caliber, doing things, the right way by accident is pretty fantastic. And Peter, you've had a busy week, buddy. You've been with a friend of the show, a friend of ours. I mean, I've never really met him, but you get a chance to meet him, and that's Meat City. And it's
always nice to have like-minded people in your house and make some videos, have a chat, eat together.
We definitely need to get him on because I've done a podcast with him in the past. We definitely need to get him back on again.
Yeah, would be nice. And unfortunately, I missed a lot the interview with Jessica. I've seen a little bit, 15 minutes.
That was amazing. It was
super interesting to see how
amazing.
carnivore can help with so many conditions at so many different ages. Doesn't matter. No,
Before we go on, guys, can I just give a massive shout out to Brian, the hunter-gatherer, on his good news this week. I don't know if you guys have heard, but he's going to be promoting the new Ketosis Key movie. He's going to be promoting it. He's going to be partner with them. It's unbelievable, great news. He only put this up on his Instagram, I think 2 days ago. So, Brian, if you're watching or you're listening, we're super proud of you, buddy, honestly.
Yeah. And for all those who don't know, hunter-gatherer mindset is his handle. And, Brian's been a powerful ambassador for the carnivore community and us. And we've had him on. We've had an interview, I think, with him. And Peter and I had a chance to sit down. And actually, the first time we met, we hit it off. And Brian, we love you, buddy. And, you are necessary in this space. You've done an amazing job. And he brings a little charm to the matter. He's been known to drop some bombs, and we've had some good rants.
That's what happens when you live in Ireland.
Yeah. No. And then I've got to say something because Lisa, I know you're here watching, and it's my bad because Mark was actually we wanted to get you on, and I thought it was a different Lisa, and we will have you on and love to have you on and hang out with us. You've been a great supporter, and we appreciate you and love you and all your comments and in the chat. And I feel terrible because we got Miss Lisa in communication. So I'm sorry. I apologize, and we will. I will have to redeem myself with you. So we'll have you on soon, okay? And of course, all the people in the chats, we love you. Thank you for chiming in. We on the Instagram, I get a chance to look at it from time to time. Some people go on there. We can't have it on one screen, unfortunately. I'm not that tech savvy, so this is a process. So guys, today, firstly, Mark sent us a video, I think in our group. We do chat, we chat throughout the week. Usually I'm behind because it's my morning, it's their evening. So by the time I wake up in the morning, there's 60,000 messages from Peter and Mark, and I'm like, it's just the way it is. But he sent something over that was very kind of, it's something that we're going to talk about today when we mentioned in the show intro, calories. And I mean, I know Lisa made a comment like it's the bane of my bloody life. I mean, being a health coach, I would have to agree with you. It's a dog that won't die. And we're going to get into this today and sort of discuss what this person did in social media. And I know Mark has a lot to say about it. And it's kind of weird because it kind of leads you're kind of lost about what she's actually meaning. And I have a funny feeling that we're gonna get into it. And then of course, dealing with the obesity epidemic. Have our thoughts on it. I know Mark's very strong about this, and they're calling it obesity a disease, and we might have some things to say. So we're gonna let's roll the clip, boys. Let's get right into it, and we'll get our thoughts, and we can pause it as we go if we need to. Okay.
Hand while I say this. Diet and exercise alone is rarely effective to treat obesity. And before you guys come at me and say, that's not true, diet and exercise, calorie deficit, you just got to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight, blah, blah, blah. Let me explain. Yes.
So right away, you
kind
of get it. You're like, what are you, where is she going with this? Because there was a couple things you're like, okay. And then a couple was like, oh, I don't know. Like, what does this mean? So.
Yeah, but you see the way she contradicted herself there. She said that it's not going to work through diet and exercise, but then she says a calorie deficit will work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like she's contradicting herself straight away.
And I want to reference before we even continue the video sort of fit in the pre-show. If anybody if they're live or didn't check it out, but go check it out on the replay. Peter did a great video that actually is very I wish maybe Peter you can bring it up because it's in Dutch, but the subtitles says it all. And you kind of it was like bang on to this. So okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's the common story, right? With calorie counting. I mean, the one doesn't exclude the other. They are not mutually exclusive. Like dieting, it helps. Calorie intake, obviously, it's a given. Although there are some nuances to it, because in the end, you should talk about mass in and mass out. Mm-hmm. But in the end, if you want, you can adhere to a calorie model, and it works. But of course, somehow all dietitians that propose this model, they somehow want to negate the whole influence of hormones.
Yes.
And we need to touch on as well that when people are exercising, they're going to be burning energy. But what energy are they burning first? Glucose or fats? So we need to touch on that as well.
Yeah, and that's where I think like, for the most part, calories gets very muddy because you're talking about energy, but it's not what we eat. We don't eat the calories. We don't. You know what I mean? And it's so. And
there's one thing that is a bit like with nutrition research. If you have epidemiological research, all the confounders, they typically end up in the primary variable, which is often like a red meat or so. And with the calorie counting, it's the same thing. You have this thing called metabolic rate or basal rate or whatever, however you want to call it. And all the hormonal effects and all these things, you can sort of push into this denominator.
Mm-hmm. That's
And see what we need to understand is this: calories can be called fuel, it can be called information, it can be called macros. You know what I mean? It can be called other things. The problem I have with the calorie model is this: it's everywhere. It's literally it's in shops, and this is where the confusion is. We see low calorie, and we're all brainwashed into thinking that a calorie is just a calorie, and as long as you're in a calorie deficit, you're going to lose weight. We've never denied this, never once denied this. The problem is people just can't keep it off. They can't keep it off. It's a short-term solution.
And I've also said that I think, putting my tinfoil hat on for a second, I say this a lot of times, is like the reason why they do this on menus and items now is to justify a moderation. But what if you can't moderate? So all those calories at McDonald's mean nothing.
And the biggest culprit, I've always said this, the biggest culprit people have when they go on a diet is hunger. They go into this starvation mode, this massive deficit, and the body, they go into this fight or flight situation. The body just cannot do this anymore. The body panics, and this is when they end up binging. Then they end up going like, "Oh shit, I can't do this anymore." Yeah, we've all been there. Like 2 months into the diet, and then all of a sudden reality kicks in. Yeah, I have to have a burger. I have to have a binge now. I need to go out the weekend.
I just did a video on emotional eating, and it's like people don't like willpower is finite. Why are you going to be, you're fighting your willpower, and eventually you're going to lose if that's your only tool. And I mean, it all comes down to that, Mark, I think, is like, how are you? How's your hunger? How's your cravings? How's your nervous system? How are things? What draws you? Calories mean nothing in those contexts. Nothing. You know what I mean? It's the food you're eating, or not food you're eating.
And can I just also add one more point as well? When we look at what's going on in the world at the moment, so when you look at one calorie, it says that so for every gram of carbohydrate that you eat, it's 4 calories. But how do we know this? This was never proven. When you look at fats as well, for every gram of fat that you eat, it contains 9 calories. Now, is it accurate? 100% no. Does it work? Yes, it does. But we just need to understand this, that yes, it will work, but your body is not a calculator. We're a lot more better than that.
No kidding.
That's the thing.
And even the nutrition facts that people see and read labels and stuff, like there's a program. It's a calculation. It's not a definite thing. So you throw
it's databases and all this stuff.
You throw in your food, and then they calculate it all out. And the protein is nitrogen. It's not even the amino acids. So it's already flawed. Like, I mean, you use it as maybe a guide, a loose guide. But I mean, I would be more concerned about ingredients on a food.
Absolutely, because when you look at the old food pyramid, what was at the very, very top? Where was protein? It was second from bottom. Now look at what's at the top. It's the priority. When you look at the new food pyramid, the priority was protein. It was give your kids more protein. Why is that? Because it's going to be satiating. You're going to be full. You know what I mean? Whereas when we look at the old food pyramid, it was grains, it was carbohydrates. This is what leading to people getting hungry on a regular basis. This is what led to metabolic damage. This is what drives me crazy when we hear this term food noise and we don't know how to solve it. It's literally in front of you. You're giving people the problem was it was never going to work in the long term. It was a flawed system. A massive flawed system.
And Mark, you said, which is correct, because calorie counting on its own works in the sense that, well, people can lose weight and go to the gym and make calculations, and it sort of is a good estimate. What I tend to say is that if you use calorie counting and you don't change the composition of your diet, so the relative amounts of macronutrients remain the same, then calorie counting is sort of a proxy for how much you eat. You could also weigh it down, the food. And I mean, there are some caveats, of course. There are all kinds of external factors that can change, but basically you're just looking at how much you're eating.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, Michael Eads broke this down really well. I don't know if anybody doesn't, if you don't know who Michael Eads is, great ambassador for this way of eating. And I've been following him for years. I'm not sure where he's at now. Hopefully he's still around. But he says that it's like we should be talking about nutrition mass per gram. You know what it's bringing you to the table, and then energy is different. It's your body uses energy differently than the stuff that makes you.
And see, when you go into a deficit, sorry, Tony, when you go into a deficit, you're depriving your body from valuable nutrients. Exactly. So that you're literally taking everything out what you should be adding into the diet. So when you go into this diet phase, this diet culture phase, you're eliminating energy away from the bodies because most people will remove the carbohydrates because this is how they're, you know what I mean? This is where they go first of all. It's amazing because they all go on about carbohydrates and how they're so valuable to the body. But you ask any bodybuilder, when he goes into a deficit, what's the first thing they let go of?
Yeah.
It's the carbohydrates because they bring the carbohydrates out, or sorry, they take the carbohydrates out and they replace it with just vegetables and protein.
Yeah.
And then you ask any bodybuilder, how do you feel like 6 to 8 weeks out from a show? Yes. They feel horrendous. Now, me and Robert Sykes only spoke about this the other day. This is the reason why we chose, when we went to do our competitions in the past, we chose to put our health first.
Yeah.
We weren't going on stage to win a trophy. We were going on stage to be the leanest person on the stage, look absolutely incredible, look shredded, but at the same time, our health was in perfect order.
And that's like a longtime fan of Dr. Berg when he says that, like he sort of was the one that opened up my eyes. It's like, you don't lose weight to get healthy. You get healthy to lose weight.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the way we should be looking at things.
You know,
but let's listen what the expert is saying about it.
You have to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. That is true. We are not disagreeing about that there. But what else is true that we know, because this has actually been studied, people have studied this, is that...
Okay, I have a problem with that.
Yeah, studies again. Research.
Not even these people. It's just people.
Yeah.
People have studied, you know. Show me a
It's
study.
like, where's the proof? Yeah. Show me. I want to see real life experiences here. I don't like, it's just...
And you even see it under the little caption there. It's people have studied this. Like, people have studied this. Well, yeah, we know. People have studied a lot of things. How's that gone for us, right? Like, oh my Lord.
Very, very few people can lose substantial weight and keep it off long term. This meta...
Mark, I want you to talk about that.
We know, that's what I'm saying. We know this because I get these questions every single day. No word of a lie. I get random people reaching out to me and saying that, why can't I not stick to a diet?
Yeah.
Why is it that my calories are so low and I still cannot lose weight? I'm working, I know word of a lie. I'm working with a lady at the moment and she would tell you this herself. She has a PCOS problem. Yeah. Her calories were as down as 800 calories. Now, this lady's a big lady and she still couldn't shift the belly button. She couldn't shift it. And she'll tell you this herself.
Yeah.
She, for years and years and years, they were told, like, you're broken. If we can't do it on 800 calories, you're going to have to go and see your doctor and be put on a weight loss
bariatric surgery. You're going to have
this is what honestly, this is what I was told. And I was like, listen, it's not you. You are not the problem here. The information that you've been given is wrong. It's not right. And then when she gave me the diet sheet, she gave me the actual diet sheet that the coach actually gave her. Guys, it was horrendous. It was horrendous. There was too much sugar in it. Way too much sugar in it. And there was a good balance of vegetables in there. So okay, that's fine. But we need to understand, if you're going to have a lot of sugar in the diet, will vegetables help? Of course it will. It will slow down the absorption of those sugars. But as I've always said, where does it come from in the first place? And this is why I want to talk a little bit about the energy model. When you exercise, you are burning energy.
Yes.
That's what you're burning. Now, you're not burning fat. End of story. You're not burning fat. You're burning glucose. So what's coming off your body is water retention. That's what's coming off your body. Now, you need to understand this. Where is that excess water coming from? It's coming from the amount of sugars and carbohydrates that you're putting into your body. So it just doesn't make the mind boggles while you're going into these spinning classes. You're losing water, but then you're replenishing yourself with an energy drink.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's like, do you not understand where you're going wrong here? You're losing all this fluids, but then you're adding it back in again. Why don't you not just remove it in the first place?
It's kind of funny how like a lot of things wake up when you realize that, because we breathe out fat, and it comes down to the carbon exchange. Carbohydrates, fats are hydrocarbons. We breathe out carbon dioxide. That is how we lose fat. And if people go, what? Yeah, it comes out your lungs. Like, it's pretty wild.
And so most doctors don't even know that. So if you ask them if your body burns fat, where does it go? Well, the mass goes through your urine and your breath.
I don't mean to be that guy, but I got to tie this into climate change. I mean, that is the natural order of carbon cycling. We breathe in oxygen, breathe out carbon dioxide. The plants breathe in the carbon dioxide and give us oxygen.
And see the thing is though, if you're a big person, you need to understand how much of that was fat that you lost. Because I can tell you now, about 60 to 80% of that, like I said, is fluids.
Yeah, well,
because
if you're taxing your body, with a lot of stress and a lot of non-nutrition, you're losing bone density, you're losing muscle mass. That's not the weight you want to be losing, especially as we get older. And
the thing is that when you're big and you end up stepping on scales, this is where people get brainwashed, because they see a massive drop in weight in the first week. They lose 10 pounds in the first week, and they're like, oh my God, I've lost 10 pounds. I could never lose that amount of weight in my life. And then you're trying to explain to them, don't get too fixated on the scales here, because you're only losing water weight here.
Yeah.
That's all you're losing. When you get down to your ideal body weight, things are going to slow down. That's when you're losing fats.
Yeah. And
talking about all these things, it makes me think of a cycling tour that I did last summer. And I met a cyclist who explained to me that the year before he didn't eat enough. And to me, basically, it almost couldn't happen. I mean, obviously, you want to eat enough during a week-long event where you cycle all day. But if you're fat adapted, you will start burning fat. I mean, it's good to have protein intake, but you eat a bit of meat every day, and that's fine at least. But this guy obviously was carb adapted, like all cyclists. And if those people don't eat enough, they will just start burning a little bit of fat, sure, as well. But he lost muscle above all. That's what he said. It just happens.
That's a very, very good point, Peter, because I would argue when it comes to weight loss, we don't need to exercise.
No.
We really don't. We really don't. We don't. You can lose weight.
We think it's a good thing, but it's a different animal, and it's
100%. But building muscle is completely different. Yeah. So that's why going to the gym only a few days a week, because we know you're not going to the gym to build muscle. You're going to the gym to break down the muscle.
Yeah.
What you do outside the gym is what grows muscle.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying you shouldn't exercise, but we need to understand, if you want to lose weight and just get in shape, I would argue you don't need to go to the gym. I would say that you just need to eat what you should be eating, get regular movement in every single day. You don't need to convince yourself to do 20,000 steps. Just get regular movement in and you will lose weight. But like Peter said, the key to longevity is you need to build muscle. And this is what we're seeing when people are getting older. They're moving away from this. Yeah. They're only moving towards the weight loss phase. They're doing the cardio, the HIIT sessions, all these kind of things.
Or arguably holding on to your muscle as best as you can. Like, that's the thing when we're getting older that we just take. And I mean, you just look at frailty. I mean, osteoporosis and sarcopenia, like these are arguably diseases of malnutrition. And your muscle you're deteriorating. You're just withering away. Mm-hmm. So, like that, and that can be helped with a great diet. It's not necessarily, obviously the exercise is very important when you're dealing with, we can go into all day about that. But I find too with people that are plateauing, depending on how much weight you need to lose, the hardest part to explain is that you need to train your body to trust that it's safe, and the fat adaptation period is so, we don't know. Everybody's different. So once your body gets fat adapted, the more efficient your body gets at this, comfortable and doing the right things, being nourished, not shocking your body like completely terribly, like as in going super low calorie, eating more often, all of a sudden those things start to just get better as you go. And that's really hard for people that have been stepping on a scale their whole life going, well, it's all about weight, and it's hard.
Absolutely. And that's why cortisol is very important.
Yeah.
Because stress in general is not a problem. It's only when it becomes chronic.
Yeah.
So, and how does it become chronic? When you think about it, when you go into a deficit, your body is already in that fight or flight situation. It's panicking. It doesn't want to be there. It's only going to be there for a while, and then that panic's going to kick in. This is when we've all been there. We do it for like 4 or 5 weeks, and then we're like, oh, like I'm really craving something now. Yeah. I'm going out of control here. I'm literally going out of control here. This is your body fighting against you. Yeah, and your body does not want to be in this situation.
No, and that's the thing that everybody, we use this stress word like pretty vaguely, and everything's a stress. If you're training your nervous system not to overreact, and it's basically a calming shift. Like, it's good to get stressed once in a while, but there's a difference between good stress, bad stress, and, full on breakdown. And sometimes our minds are stronger than our bodies, where we're thinking we're okay, but the body's like, no, I'm panicking here.
Yeah.
And can I just, because this is where I get confused, because I had Bart K on a few weeks ago, and we were talking about metabolic and oxidative stress. And he clearly explained the difference to me. I understand it now. But I think this is where they kind of go hand in hand. What I'm trying to say is that when you have stress in your life, it's going to impact your blood sugar, regardless of where it comes from, whether it's external, internal, wherever it comes from. If your body is overly stressed, you're going to get these massive blood sugar issues. And this is why we know that there's a well-known carnivore in the space at the moment that's going on about this. But he's not going into detail why it's actually happening. And this is what really frustrates me, because you can clearly see that a lot of people are in that situation. They're metabolically damaged, and you can clearly see where the damage is coming from the overtraining, from where they're living, and the food that they're putting into their bodies. We can go on and on and on. But you know where I'm coming from, but it's just like people are not explaining the situation. They're not explaining why this is happening and how we can actually fix it. They're just saying, okay, you just need to be in a calorie deficit. We know you can be in a calorie deficit, but it's not going to work long term. That's the problem.
Well, yeah, and I mean that's the thing with a lot of people that don't realize, like, there's certain things that how your body reacts to certain triggers or certain stresses. The difference between your immune system going into a cytokine storm, for instance, and just having a few mild symptoms is your chronic systemic inflammation and your immune system functionality. So that all has part to play in it, and we always put these things in boxes. It's like, it's either good or bad. And it's like, well, no. Your body it's a beautiful machine. And we think we're smarter than it. And it's quite often, it's telling you all the time.
Yeah, I'm thinking, will she also talk about, because I have only seen the first 10 seconds, so the 10 seconds that we've seen right now. Will she talk about calorie deficit being necessary, and it's just enough to be in a calorie deficit and you don't have to follow this extreme diet, this type of...
No, she basically goes, I'll let you guys watch the rest of it, but she basically says that a calorie deficit won't work on its own. You will need to have a medical intervention eventually. That's basically where it goes.
Okay.
Analysis looked at 29 different studies, and what they saw is that within 2 years, more than half of the weight that was lost was regained, and within 5 years, more than 80% of the weight that was lost was regained. Keeping weight off is really difficult because obesity is a chronic disease, and the brain will fight that weight.
Yeah. So basically, so you can see there, she's saying that it's a disease, and now she's going to talk about how the brain gets out of control. So again, this is where we go back to food noise. This is where the issue is.
Yeah.
Okay, because the brain takes over. It's like, I can't handle this anymore. So she's saying, okay, this is why she's convincing people. Okay, you've done the low calorie diets. It's not working. You're not the problem here. You have a medical problem here.
Well, and this is where I kind of hold caution to the wind here, because, like, is obesity a disease, or is your body just in dis-ease? Because you know what I mean? Like, it's like you don't catch you know, I would argue very strongly, we don't catch obesity. We don't. And, you know, and you may be genetically predispositioned to hold on to body fat, but I've seen so many people that have been in that way reverse it easily.
I was thinking that, is it a disease? Well, if it's a disease, it either has to be a 100% genetic disorder, so not a predisposition. It has to be something like a bacteria or virus. It has to be like injury, that type of stuff, injury to your organs or whatever. And that's about it. And for sure, there are some like rare exceptions where the obesity is caused by some kind of mechanism, a fault in the genetics or some other condition to which obesity is a secondary effect, but it's obviously not a disease. I mean, if you want to say, exactly like you said, Tony, if a body is at dis-ease, then it is.
And I mean, you know, imbalance, dysfunction, what are the, you know, there's always a cause and effect. So what is actually causing the obesity? And there's going to be other side steps, other triggers. So if you're treating it as a disease, of course, just go on Ozempic. Just go get bariatric.
And why don't we not look into why people have to eat on a regular basis? Why don't we not ask that question? Why do these people feel they have to eat every 2 hours? Because I don't hear enough of this on social media. I don't know about you guys, but this just really wrecks my head. Why do people need to eat every 2 hours? They'll eat
12 times a day, Mark.
Yeah.
12 times a day. You know what I mean? Every 2 hours.
Yeah, it's like the minute you get up in the morning, I hear from all people all the time. When I get up in the morning, I'm starving. I can't go to work unless I have something to eat. And I'm like, why? Your body's in that situation already. This is where we go back to that fight or flight situation again.
Yeah, and this is another controversial argument too, is disordered eating.
Yeah.
Is that a disease? Because like people, we don't go far back enough. Like, you know, and then to what you're saying, Mark, trying to will out an eating disorder, where the hell does that lead you? You know what I mean? That leads you into way worse conditions. And now you add malnourishment and not being fully nourished.
Sorry, Tom. Yeah, because I can't understand when people go on about the carnivore diet being an eating disorder. If anything, your eating disorder is going to be looked after very, very well on the carnivore diet because you're not going to be hungry on a regular basis. You know what I mean? Whereas when I ask these people, okay, define what an eating disorder is for me. Just define what it is. No, they can't get back to me. To me, an eating disorder is when you're thinking about food all the time. Literally all. Now I know this because I went through this twice.
Well,
I was severely underweight and I was massively overweight. So I know exactly what the problem is here.
I would say that, in my opinion, this is my humble opinion, an eating disorder is anything that's not natural. And that's an argument. Everybody has a problem with that. But I think a natural way of eating, whether it's ancestral, whatever diet you're on, the natural way, which you can argue, but, you know, I think we've seen it in a lot of this community. Arguably, what is the most a species-specific human diet? And anybody that says that they've gone that route and says, I start needing to eat at this time, it's very rare that people need to eat when you're fat adapted, you've been nourishing your body for a number of years. It's not, you don't get erratic behaviors. It goes the other way. And we see it over and over again. So I think that's, you know, anything that's not natural. And if you're reaching for Coke, Twinkies, and Doritos at like, you know, that's not natural.
You're out of control. Yeah, you're literally out of control. It's an addiction. It's just, that's, you have to face it. It's an addiction. You have a problem and that's it.
And I believe that modern ways have led us down that path. And then they justify it by saying you're broken. And the cycle continues. And
they're trying to mask it by covering it with fiber. It's just, you know what I mean? It's just like, oh my God, like it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, no problem is that it makes you feel twice as good or half as bad if you eat the fiber. Sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's continue, boys.
Loss every step of the way. What I have seen in clinical practice, and I'm going to go ahead and just speak for every other doctor ever, is that many people will lose the same 50 pounds and then they will gain it back, and then they may lose it again, and they may gain it back. So they can lose the same 50 pounds over and over again.
Yeah, I also have a problem with that, because is it the same 50 pounds? Because I guarantee you along that way, doing what you just said, you are losing bone density, you are losing muscle mass, and your body is rebounding by putting on fat because it's trying to survive. So it's not the same 50 pounds. Sorry, doctor.
Yeah.
So it's not that people can't lose weight with a calorie deficit, and that is not what I'm saying, because yes, people can lose weight with a calorie deficit, but keeping it off is important for the treatment of obesity, because that's...
Did you hear it? That makes blows. Yeah, of course, because keeping it off means you're not obese. Anyway.
It's where we see health benefit. You have to keep the weight off to see health benefit in other...
Do you though? Okay, because now I tell you what, if you have bariatric surgery and you don't know what nourishment is, you're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Take that gastric band off and you are in a lot of trouble.
There are chronic conditions that are associated with obesity. Diet and exercise can cause weight loss, but this is not equivalent to treating and managing chronic obesity.
All right, buddy.
Oh my God, it's just...
And I guarantee you, if I would go out of my way to say that, that leads to a certain injection and an ambassador for like this will help, because it's just all about the calories. So just eat less of a shitty diet and you're good and you're healthy. And that pisses me off, really.
And you know what the funny thing is? I put that up ages ago, and I only checked it there a few minutes ago. 20 views is all I've had. 20 views. That's all that's been on it. So you can clearly see they don't want this information out there.
Well, yeah, and that's I don't want to use that as an excuse, because there is certain things. I'm actually digging deep into the algorithms and stuff, but it's really funny. Two things usually happen when we start talking about controversial stuff. The internet starts glitching. It's just weird, but it happens. And another thing is when there's something so powerful and we start mentioning buzzwords like the C word or the O word. O rhymes with epic, right? It seems like it just gets like really, really not as out there. And I know there's a lot of tinfoil hats beside me that feel this way, but it's funny how that seems to work. And Peter, I don't know if you noticed this stuff, because you talk about some pretty serious stuff with type 1 diabetes.
Today, I in this calorie video, right? I was explaining that I mentioned 8 things or so, which are also true. On which you can lose weight and eating 10 times a day. But one of them was, the second one was taking Ozempic. So the word Ozempic was in my video. And I think that triggered something, because I had to repost it 3 times in order to make the video a bit...
Door in een calorietekort te gaan zitten. Sorry, I put it up so we can watch it, because I want everybody to watch it. This is a good one. So sorry, Peter. Explain.
Yeah. So I used some hashtags focused on losing weight. So together with this Ozempic story, I think this combination of words is also not really... Well, you can have 2 things. Either the algorithm doesn't like it and they don't want to promote the whole stuff. Yeah. And of course, it's super popular. So I am fishing in the same pool as the big guys that are probably promoting Ozempic and with hundreds of thousands of followers. So the first 2 times, my video only got like 10 views. And normally you get on TikTok, your video gets pushed and it tested for, let's say, a few hundred views within even 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So now I'm really aggressive, and I'm not accepting this type of stuff anymore. So I just delete the video and I repost it immediately.
Yeah.
And for some reason, sometimes it suddenly works.
Since I've been looking at this too, it's like timing. Timing is a big deal too. And I mean, trying to stay on top of it, it's pretty tough. And that's why, guys, we appreciate all your support in the chats. And if you can, go subscribe to Peter's channel, Low Carb Perspective, Mark Fitness Beyond Time.
So one detail that I didn't mention. So I removed the hashtags related to losing weight and all this stuff. So basically, I removed all hashtags actually. And then the algorithm has to test it on people watching the video, and then it sort of
interesting
accepts it a little bit more. But yeah, if there were the big C word, for sure it's a different story again. Ozempic is relatively okay to talk about still,
now,
right?
So everybody's talking about it like not necessarily on the bad way. They're talking about it like it's great. So you're going to ride that bubble.
And me too, right? In the video, I said that you can take Ozempic to lose weight, which is true.
Well, let's watch this video because it's good. And for all the people that don't speak Dutch, there's subtitles. We're good.
Afvallen door in een calorietekort te gaan zitten. Je kunt afvallen door een GLP-1-agonist te nemen, zoals Ozempic. Je kunt afvallen door 10 keer per dag te eten. Je kunt afvallen op ultrabewerkt voedsel. Je kan afvallen door te veel te trainen. Je kan afvallen door je eiwitinname te beperken. Je kan zelfs afvallen door minder te slapen. Vond je deze video nou nuttig? Like en volg voor meer.
Like and subscribe to Peter.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if that came across, but I didn't say it for me to be followed.
No.
But I was angry for a video that I saw earlier on, in which a person was mentioning the third item I mentioned in this video is that you can eat 10 times a day and still lose weight, and that it's the typical setting, a table on which you see a pile of loaves of slices of bread and some other snack. And they start to count calories and whatever. And so if you eat it 10 times a day and you reach the same amount of calories, blah, 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 you will still lose weight. So I was angry that they are telling all these things that are not, they are true, but they are not useful for us.
Yeah.
So stop telling it. Stop gaslighting.
But you made a very, very good point, Peter. Like, you can lose weight eating whatever you want. Yeah. You can eat whatever you like. It's the information you're going to get from these foods, and that's what's going to lead to the problems, because it's not going to last. We all know we can eat chocolate, we can eat McDonald's, we can eat pretty much wherever we like, but at the end of the day, the information you're going to get from these foods, you're not going to last, and you're going to get these massive sugar cravings, and that's what the problem is right now.
I think every item that I mentioned contains a caveat. So the item about reducing your protein intake. I mean, obviously, most viewers will realize that it means that you are not getting enough nutrients to build muscle. But there is detail also that it explains why you should be either eating full fat or full sugar. So either follow a carnivore diet or a sugar diet. And then you will lose weight. And what was the other thing? Overtraining, obviously. You lose weight by overtraining, but it's not sustainable. And all these other stories,
But I thought it was pretty fitting with the video that we watched today, because it's like, yeah, we know this stuff, man. Like, you can do this, but it's ridiculous. Like, when you're like, I just finished 3 days of eggs only. I would not want to do. I'm sorry, but I'm not, like, when I look at the nutrition involved, I'm not doing 3 days of sugar. I'm not doing 3 days of Coke.
Did you say eggs only?
Eggs only. Yeah.
Okay.
So I started with maybe 12, and I ate 12 the first day, and I was like, okay, I can eat more. And I was okay. I was all right. And then the next day I ate 16, and it's a big pile of eggs, man.
I'll give you another one, Tony. As I mentioned to you the other day with Jessica, I did the Nick Norris the sardine just before the Christmas. Yeah. Now my food intake was very, very low, because I could only eat like pretty much 4 tins a day.
Yeah.
Maybe 5.
Yeah.
But I was really struggling to put away 4 tins of sardines a day. Now, when you take into consideration the caloric value on these foods, I was probably taking in, on average, maybe 700 calories.
Yeah, that's about right.
Something like that.
80.
Now you're talking to someone who's eating a lot of food at the moment. Calorie wise, I'm probably on around 4,000 at the moment.
Yeah.
So to go from 4,000 to 700, you would think that's going to have a massive impact on the body. It didn't, because I was full.
Well,
very, very quickly.
That was what I found. There was a threshold between 12 eggs and 24 eggs. There's like there's a window, but I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I was bored shitless. I was like, this, like, just that. By the end of the mouthful, I'm like debating with myself: are you full, or is this?
You just getting bored. And see, when you're bored, that's when you get those blood sugar spikes, because you're putting stress in your body.
I was thinking was a huge steak. That's all I was like. And then, And then yesterday when I came off it, and I was like, let's eat, and I was like, just beef, like no.
But what happened at the threshold between, what did you say, 16 and 24?
Yeah, it's like there's a definite off switch. Like, it's the hunger. There's no, not really full. And I mean, this plate of eggs is huge, and there just comes to a point where it's like, oh, enough. Like it really sends the off switch. And Mark Fleur's been doing the sardines. She's eating about 5 tins and she's feeling pretty good.
Oh yeah. The energy boost you get from it is unbelievable. Like I feel great eating beef. But when I did the sardine fast, guys, honest to God.
I think there's something to be said because she looks a little slimmer and she lost about 60 pounds over a year. And then now she's been sort of on a plateau. We're trying to work back into something to kind of stimulate it. And I was like, well, let's try this sardine because it's fully nourishing, right? Like that's the thing.
It's nourishing. It's nourishing her, but she's drastically under eating as well.
Yeah.
Because I was losing a lot of weight in that 2 weeks, a lot of weight. And as I said, it's great for a short fix. Yeah. So if I'm when you look at the carnivore diet, I like to throw in, say, a protein modified fast with people. When they reach a plateau where they're not losing weight anymore, and their macros are perfect, they're getting a 1-to-1 ratio from proteins and fats. Yeah. I'll actually bring those fats down to like 10 grams.
Just enough in with the meat.
Just enough, just to keep their energy levels on track. But I'll bring their fats down as low as possible, and I'll actually increase the protein. And when you do that, that taps into the body fat, and they burn body fat faster.
And that's also that I always help. Well, when I'm helping people with this, it's like that fat lever is the key. Like knowing what makes you feel good and being able to drop it into a place that you're still feeling good. Because I mean, I feel it all the time. When I don't eat enough fat, my body knows it. It just like eat more. And I'm not necessarily trying to lose anything. It's not about that. I'm trying to be ultimately intuitive. But it's amazing how people, once they get over the fear of fat, because that's what we're being programmed with everything. It's with this calories, with everything. Fat is calorie dense. You gotta go low fat. I think it's you got to get your body fat adapted. And then once that happens, you can play for sure.
But that's a sign of a good coach, Tony. And that's why the reason you're a good coach, because you should be going off how people feel. So if they're on those macros, they should be providing you with the information. So if they say to you, Mark, I don't feel good, my energy is very, very low, then that's an indication to increase the fats.
Yeah.
If they're losing strength in the gym, then it's like, okay, well, the fats are perfect. You might need a little bit more protein.
Yeah. And I mean, that's where it's all this stuff is so loosely driven, and they don't take nuance into context. Like you need to know what nourishes your body and makes you feel good in order to push the envelope to kind of guide yourself through the stress. Because I mean, people hear about intermittent fasting, but if you're carb addicted and sugar, you're going to go nuts for 3 days. You're going to be going crazy.
Yeah.
And how's that?
Mark,
and can I just add one more point, Tony? Peter, sorry. This is why I'm not a massive fan of fasting. Like fasting's great. It's absolutely fantastic. It's great for healing the body. There's so many benefits to fasting. But if you're going for a long period of time with fasting, you are losing muscle mass.
Yes.
Up to 72 hours, something like that. Like that. It's not a good sign.
Yeah.
So I have no issues with doing a 24-hour fast probably once a week to give your body a detox.
Yeah.
But if you're getting brainwashed into thinking that
no kidding,
you need to fast all the time, I don't agree with it.
No, it always has to come natural, at least. That's
natural.
Important.
Natural.
I honestly, like, in my opinion, especially with anything longer than 1 meal a day, you have to really be careful with how you're feeling, because the worst thing is white knuckling. And I'm not talking about just a little bit of like, I eat this time, you can power through that. But I'm talking about feeling like garbage. You're not ready to do that. It's very, very intuitive. And I think when we start putting these labels like 16-8, 24, it's very personal. And I think meal times don't exist. I don't believe that breakfast, lunch, and dinner we created. Man created that. So when you would have had food, your ability to survive for longer periods without food, there's different things and there's different functions for it. But whether you're fasting for spiritual reasons, even in Ramadan, they fast from sun up to sundown. They don't do they call it fasting. And in my mind, 10 years ago, I would have said, that's crazy. 12 hours without eating. Now I'm like, that's
easy.
Tuesday, man.
Yeah. Once you become fat, adapt that, because that was the biggest thing I took from this. I was like, oh my God, I can go a day without eating food easily. No problems.
And I actually find if I'm on a computer day or I'm having like a bunch of consults and I'm like, you know, I block them. So it's like one day is pretty much 8 hours on the screen. I'm different. It's different hunger. And when I'm out doing things and I'm busy, I don't even think about food. Like it doesn't even come into my mind. It's when I get home and I go, oh, okay, I'll eat now.
But that's the way our ancestors did it, Tony.
Yeah.
Because when you think about it, when these went out and they were hunting the animal, you can be damn sure they didn't just all panic and say, oh, okay, we need to eat. They all worked together. They all skinned the animal. They all chopped up the animal. And then when everybody was sitting around a fire pit, that's when everybody ate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a question for you, Mark. So when I go training afterwards, so I like to do that fasted, and my body tells me that I want to eat after training. So, but do you think that's important to do, or is it also fine to do that half a day later?
No. I would say go off how you feel. But I would
say
I would say it goes up. It depends on the type of training you're doing. If you're doing really, really high intense training and you're training for a long period of time, your blood sugar is going to go up. When your blood sugar goes up, that tricks your brain into thinking I'm hungry straight after my workout.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that's why I'm not a massive fan of going into doing high volume. Like you don't need to put an awful lot of effort into your workouts. You just need to do enough. When you're building muscle, you're just putting a stimulus on the muscle. You're not going into the gym to literally destroy yourself. Like I don't care what any expert tells you differently. You're not going into the gym to lift all the weight in the gym. You're going into the gym to stimulate the muscle. The muscle hasn't got a clue how many reps you're doing, sets you're doing, how much weight you're lifting. The muscle only knows one thing, and that's tension.
So you're arguing basically that if you do it like that, you can also eat 6 hours after.
Yeah, absolutely, because you should not be coming out of the gym thinking, "Oh, I'm ravenous now." Because this is where if you watch anybody in the gym, they'll train really, really hard, and they'll say to you, "I need to train to earn my food." Do you ever hear that?
Yeah, no, sure, yeah.
They'll say, "I have to earn my food." That to me is what you call an eating disorder, because they're out of control. They're literally out of control in that situation. Whereas for me, I go into the gym, I do enough. I do enough for my body. I do low volume. I do 6 sets, but on those 6 sets, you can be damn sure I'm putting everything into those 6 sets. Yeah. Now I can make any set really, really challenging by just slowing it down. Yeah. I don't need to add weight. I just need to. I can get my body in different positions. I can slow the movement down. I can really connect. I can squeeze. The way I can see it is, there's many ways of adding progressive overload instead of just adding weight into the gym.
Yeah.
For me,
you have some good videos on this.
Yeah,
on Instagram,
because
so
when you go
into
because when you go into the gym and you lift a lot of weights, first of all, your form is shit. It can lead to injuries. And it can definitely ramp up your appetite. And I can never get my head around, if you're going into the gym and doing 6 sets of 12, that main set, you've already lost strength before you get to that main set, because you've wasted energy on the last 5 sets. So 5 sets of 12, you have wasted a lot of energy doing that before you actually get to that main set.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying, less is more. The only thing that matters is that main set. I'm not saying you shouldn't warm up the muscle. Warm the muscle up, but you don't need to do too much volume to get the job done. Does that make sense?
Well, not only that, Mark, but like with Peter, with hunger, with me too in the gym, I've noticed this. Like I work out pretty hard and intense, and then I'm done. Like it's pretty quick. I go all in, and then I'm done. And if I'm busy after the gym, I don't eat. It doesn't matter. Yeah. But if I get home and I'm just sort of like relaxing, and so I start, I should eat. And that's kind of, it's wild how that happens.
Can I just add one more point as well? I'm working with someone at the moment who can only do literally 20 minutes training 3 days a week, because he's a bus driver. And the first question he asked me was, what about warming up? Should I not warm up? And I said, no, you don't need to. Yeah. And what I have him doing is a time under tension method.
Yeah. As long as it's done correctly.
So what he's doing is he's picking a challenge, a weight that's kind of in the middle. And what he's doing it over a 3 minute time period. Now, when you think about it, the first 60 seconds, you're already warming up the muscle. The first 60 seconds. The second 60 seconds, the muscle is getting into that phase where you can feel it. It's starting to burn. When you get into the last 60 seconds, that's when the work starts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the warm up is in that set.
But
So
you know
so
what?
So just one more point.
Yeah.
So he done 6 exercises, but 6 exercises he multiplied that by 3 minutes on each one. That equal to 18 minutes of a workout.
Bam.
The workout was done.
Done. And just to touch on your, do you need to warm up? Well, I'll tell you what, if you're in nature and a bear comes around the corner, how much cardio, how much stretching?
Absolutely. You're gonna, 100%.
You slide down a hill and you're dangling from a cliff and you're hanging on for life. How much warm up do you get? So
exactly.
Well, my warm up if I go to the gym is like I walk there, so that's already half an hour walk.
Right.
That are my legs. So if I'm doing a leg day, that's the warm up basically. And of course, during every type of exercise, I will just do a few reps at lower weights and then go.
Yeah.
And at the very beginning of the gym session, I do 5 minutes of rowing.
And can I just talk as well about mindset, because I think this is also important, because everybody just relies on a pre-workout before they go to the gym. Now, this is why I believe mindset is the most powerful tool we have, because I can assure you, when I go to bed at the right time, I wake up and I'm ready to train. Trust me, I am ready. I don't need any pre-workout to get me excited to train. I'm looking at my logbook and I'm like, okay, this is what I done last week, and you can be damn sure I'm going to the gym and I'm going to kick ass. My earphones are switched on. I'm blocking out all the negativity. I'm blocking out all distractions. The phone is left in the locker room. I know what I need to do. So believe me, the minute I walk to the gym and the minute I walk inside the door, the earphones are switched on, I'm going to attack. I don't need this. If anything, I'm not even, like, I think Tony's the same. We don't even drink any water during our sessions.
No.
Like, my sessions are like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and I'm done.
I do an hour and a half of yoga, and it's like, I do a form of yoga that's very active. It's Kundalini yoga. It's like, it's movement and breath work. Like, it's not just poses. And I don't drink water. It's wild. I watch people just guzzling back when I don't drink water. It's wild.
I do it because it's there, but and it depends. If one day I do it and the other day I don't. So I basically do it because I like it, but I don't feel it's really necessary.
No, but I do find, like, if I salt load before my workouts, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
That's what I always do, Tony. Every time I go to the gym, I always have a little bit of salt in my water. So I'm making sure I'm well replenished before I get to the gym. I think your water intake before you get to the gym is more important to what you drink during your workout.
Yeah, really hydrated.
I honestly believe you should be well hydrated before you go into that session. You should be well fed the night before. If you're training in the morning, you should have a good, decent meal, maybe about 2 hours before you go to bed, a good, decent meal. Because that's why I always have my bigger meals before I go to bed, because of that reason. Because I wake up the next morning, I'm pumped, I'm fiery, I'm ready to go. All I need pretty much is just to be hydrated.
Yeah.
That's it. And if I want an extra little bit of a pump, I'll add a little bit of sodium into my water. And I have amazing workouts, guys. Amazing workouts.
You know what?
Go ahead, Tony.
No. I was gonna just segue into something else, but you finished, Peter. You go.
Okay, yeah. Well, so it's related to this still, but you made a remark, Mark, about if you're not performing well on the gym, then you advise to increase protein. But I'm wondering how often does that happen? That it's actually the proteins that are not enough.
You need to go off how you look and how you feel. That's where it comes down to. Like, that's why you need to chase the logbook. You need to chase. Like, what are you going into the gym? That's why training has to be specific to your goals. If you're going into the gym to build muscle, that is your goal. Yeah. If you're going into the gym to be a performance athlete, that's completely different.
Yeah.
For me, it's about building muscle. So if I log my workouts and I can see every couple of months I'm getting stronger, then my body requirement of protein is actually going to go up.
Yeah, but I was thinking because, so how often does it happen that it's in fact the protein intake? Because a lot of people, I guess, get enough protein anyway, because we're so focused on getting protein nowadays. And how much of the times is it overtraining, let's say?
Well, when you look at overtraining, what do we class as overtraining? For me, overtraining is when you're doing way too much in the gym. You're training every single day. Now,
Well,
if you're training like 7 days a week, your requirement of protein needs to go up really, really high. Really, really high. Because
like 2 grams.
Yeah. Because your energy demands go up. So obviously you need to give your body the fuel it needs. Whereas if you're doing less, you won't need that much protein. You can probably look at a gram per pound, and you'll be fine. But I still say that as your body adapts, and this is why I think people need to understand the reverse diet, because I think this is extremely important. Because I've been doing this for years, and Robert Sykes taught me about this. That you should be looking at improving on a month-to-month, year-to-year basis. So when I look back at what I did 6 years ago when I stepped on stage, when I was very, very lean, if we're going by calories, I stepped on stage maybe around 1,200 calories, something like that. But ever since I came out of that, I did a reverse diet pretty much every year for the last 6 years. And I was able to increase my foods slowly. That's why now my metabolism has adapted to the amount of food that I'm eating now. I can easily put away about 3,500, 4,000 calories. This is what really annoyed me about the radio show when he was convincing me that you're not eating 5 pounds of red meat a day. And I was like, listen, you don't know fuck all about me. I can tell you right now, I can put away this food very, very easily.
Yeah.
Because my body's adapted.
But I found that intuitively. Like when I have a vicious, like exerting energy day, because I mean, I was helping my friend's moving company. I still do it because I like to go and get a good day of lifting and stairs, and it's just I like it. And I find I eat more, just naturally. Like I've been putting out way more energy and taxing things, so I eat more on those days, and it's just really neat. It's not considerably more, but it's definitely more. And sometimes I feel like I need more fat because the energy.
And that's exactly what I feel, Tony. And so I cannot fully understand how people don't get enough protein, because I feel like this, that if I'm doing more in terms of exercise or whatever, I eat more. And my body tells me whether it is the protein or the fat.
Can I just add one more point for that question, Tony? You made a very, very good point, because this is what I do. On my training days, I eat a lot more because my energy demands are higher. They're a lot higher. On my days off, I don't eat as much. You know what I mean? So I think people need to understand that as well. It doesn't need to be set in stone of eating the same macros every single day. You need to go off how you feel. That's it.
Okay, we have a question before we start. We're going to segue into busting some myths, putting us on the spot to finish off the show. But Simsy N. Johns has a question, and we'll all kind of touch on it. We'll let Mark go first. Does the elderly need more or less? Does the elderly need more or less protein? And thank you, by the way. I appreciate that's pretty big company to be an angel, but thank you. Anyway.
No, so I would say your requirement for protein as you get older is your main priority. So I would say you should be I wouldn't say a lot, but like I said, you should be aiming for probably about 1 pound per gram, and that'd be a good starting point. But the one thing I need people to understand is this, that you're not fiber deficient, you're not protein deficient, and people are saying that you need to go towards the fiber. No, you need to keep protein in your diet, because we lose things as we get older. This is why people struggle to bend over, start to have sarcopenia issues, they have hip issues, they can't pick stuff off the ground, they're not able to squat, stuff like that. This is why your requirement of protein is extremely important, because the most important macronutrient that you need in your diet is not carbohydrate, it's not fat, it's always going to be protein. Protein is the macronutrient that's the key to longevity.
Yeah.
It's literally the fountain of youth. It really is.
I agree. Peter, do you want to touch on this?
Yeah, I think that's, I totally agree with that. And it's important to realize that it's crucial for your muscles, but also your bones. People don't realize, often they don't realize that your bones are made of a lot of protein, especially. So not so much calcium, which is of course also there, but you need protein to build muscle.
Yeah. And all I'm going to say, as far as the elderly need more or less protein, you need the amount of protein that you need. And it's it's so important that here's where the carnivore, I'm going to throw the carnivore thing in here. If you're eating a mixed diet and you're substituting protein or the essential nutrients for a salad, and you can't eat that much, you need to take a look at what your body needs. So you focus on the protein first. You need to be eating protein, especially as we start to get older and lose the appetite. This all changes. Like, you need to be making sure that like prioritizing protein, not fearing fat, and controlling your carbohydrates is probably a good model. But the older you get, like Mark said, the more important you need to fill in the Jenga tower. You're taking blocks out. You need to put those blocks back in so that Jenga tower doesn't fall.
And the type of protein that you eat really does matter.
Obviously,
because because we know animal proteins contain 20 amino acids, but we know 9 of them are essential.
Yeah, exactly.
They're absolutely, you will not get this in plant protein.
And we're going to put out a podcast we did. Peter and I got Mark and Victoria did interviewed Hal Cramner on. He does assisted living, and he puts people on ketogenic carnivore diets, and they get out of wheelchairs, and he's doing impossible. They're reversing diabetes at 70, 80 plus, and he's very specifically said, I've watched this in real time. You start giving the elderly more protein and focus a diet around protein, miracles happen. And it's not really miracles. It's just our human way. So, and if anybody wants to like, there's an evolutionary biologist named Michael Rose. And he did, I know it sounds weird, but he did experiments on fruit flies, because you can do 1,000 generations of fruit flies in a couple days. So what his findings were about the diet was the older you get, the closer you need to be to a species specific diet. So that's pretty much what he gathered. So when we're young and we're, stupid and resilient, we can get away with a lot more. The older we get, the more we have to get. And obviously we can all debate on what a species specific diet. But that's the thing. He's got I've added 5 pounds of year of lean muscle bone, according to my fancy scale. So close to 50 since going carnivore. Nice.
Amazing. Good stuff. Keep it up.
And thank you for chiming in on the chats. We appreciate it. So thank you. And, we love it. That's what we're here. I love the debate, and we bring an interesting spin on things, and we can all talk. We all have our ways about talking, but can we do it under pressure, boys? This is what I've designed this little segment to try it out. We're going to probably play with this with a few things. And the idea is we're going to talk about myths. We're going to bust some myths. Today, the topic is doctors and people are always saying red meat is so bad for us, and they give us these buzzwords to say it does whatever. So what we're going to do, I've got 7 things. Mark, I'm going to give you the extra one because you're going to love the last one. I promise you. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a timer up on the stage. Let's see. Where is this? There it is. Okay. Got this. Okay. We'll put this back, and then I'm going to ask you a question. And Peter, you're up first.
Okay.
And you get 60 seconds to bust the myth. So this is gone in 60 seconds. And we're going to say, first question, Peter. Red meat, they say red meat causes heart disease.
Heart disease. Well, because it contains saturated fat. It's a building. This number is so scary. This countdown. No, but it's based on epidemiological research mostly, and they they try to correct for factors like age, smoking, and all these things. And you make assumptions there, and all the mistakes, all the corrections that you don't do perfectly accurately, all those mistakes cause residuals that end up in typically the primary variable of the investigation, which is red meat in this case. A lot of factors are not included, like lean mass, sugar, addictive behaviors, and processed food consumption. So what you will see is a correlation of 1.1, 1.3. It is full of residuals. Totally useless.
Well done, Peter. Good stuff.
timer. Mark's going to go up next. And you have saturated fat from red meat clogs your arteries.
Well, I'll just keep it simple. If it clogs your arteries, I would have been dead 6 years ago because I eat a lot of saturated fat, a lot of saturated fat. The myth about saturated fat has never been proven, ever. It's always been based on studies. When we look at the saturated fat model, what we need to understand is what are you actually mixing with the saturated fats. That's what the problem was. So you guys need to look more into the Randall cycle. You'll actually understand what the problem is here. So I'll give you guys an example. When you're eating your red meat, your steak, anything like that, what else are you having it with? Are you having it with a bun, chips, orange, alcohol? This was the problem right here. It was never saturated fat on its own. Plus, if saturated fat was the problem, then why is it that all of us are on a low-fat diet and yet every single one of us are still struggling and heart disease is still the #1 killer in the world? You really need to ask yourself that question. So it's never been proven, guys. Do the research in yourself.
Way to go, buddy. Way to go. All right. I'm going to try and do this with this timer, but sometimes when I'm running a thing from my internet, it kind of glitches out. So hopefully it doesn't glitch out too hard. Well, mine is red meat is inflammatory. So let's go. So we have to look at chronic systemic inflammation. Now, what is chronic systemic inflammation? Something is causing a reaction. Inflammation is a reaction to something. And if we look at our guts and we look at, what putrefies, what ferments, what does damage in our guts, why is it that when we eat red meat, we, don't smell like anything, we feel better, and it's clear that glycation and sugar causes damage. That's inflammation, causing your body to respond to something that's not supposed to be there. And if you look at a bunch of anecdotal evidence with people, how they feel when they eat red meat, it's the exact opposite of inflammation. It calms everything down because the body gets to process all the bioavailable nutrients that don't cause any damage and do not putrefy in your gut.
Good man, Tony. Good man.
All right, I like it. We're gonna go here now. Peter, we're winding up.
You lose points if you have some seconds left, right? Minus 3 points.
Okay, so Peter, we're gonna go with right up your alley, buddy.
Diabetes. Yeah.
Red meat is dangerous for diabetics and metabolic health.
Oh, yeah. Which is again based on the epidemiological research, but it's insanity, of course. Red meat contains only just proteins and fats, and we all know that your blood glucose regulation, the consumption of carbohydrates, and your A1C are classic markers and risk markers for diabetes and heart disease, but we're talking about diabetes. I am a type 1 diabetic for 17 years now, and I'm eating only red meat for 4 years with a lot of butter and all kinds of stuff, full of saturated fat, and my glycemic control is perfect. It's 100% in range. My A1C is 5%. So tell me, am I developing insulin resistance or even type 2 diabetes? How is that possible?
You got 6 seconds. Come on, buddy.
Well, the good man, Pierre. Well done. Good man.
Okay. Next one's for Mark. And we'll reset the time. And yeah, Lambs, I actually did not prepare. I know it might sound like I did, but I just wrote these down for last week. And I mean, this is stuff that we always say, and it'd be fun to just kind of put us on the spot. I love it. Okay, Mark, red meat raises cholesterol and it's dangerous.
Well, we need to understand again what cholesterol is. Cholesterol is actually vital for the body. Cholesterol, again, what I mentioned on the last one, it only becomes a problem when you mix sugar to it. So again, I'm pretty much repeating the same thing. You really need to look at the Randall cycle. Plus, when we look at cholesterol, like I said, cholesterol is vital for the body. And there's no good or bad cholesterol. There's only one cholesterol. We need to understand that. We just need to understand that when it comes to high-fat diets are not the issues. The issue is what you're actually mixing with these foods. So we need to do more research into what cholesterol does for the body. Without cholesterol, the body doesn't function the way it should be. Without cholesterol, you're going to really, really struggle. Plus, everybody's on a low cholesterol diet at the moment, and everybody's really, really struggling at the moment. So why do you think that is? So maybe the clue is in the question. You need to start increasing your cholesterol and start listening to your doctor.
Cholesterol for the win, Mark. All right. And now I got a controversial one, and no, Lambs, I wasn't prepared. I've been preparing this for my whole life. All right, let's rewind the time. All right. Red meat causes cancer. Well, I'll tell you what. What doesn't cause cancer in our modern day? And I'll tell you, when we look at what cause and effect is and what cancer is, we have to find out if it's what they tell us being genetic, or is it what Thomas Seyfried says about being metabolic? What is causing the damage? How does it mutate? And if you look at something in the lines of cancer, something causing cancer, it would have to make your body adapt for survival. That's the last ditch effort to survive. And something that causes that would initially have to cause damage. Now, with what I just mentioned before, red meat not causing inflammation, there is no reason why the body would go into a survival state when you're feeding and nourishing the body with the stuff that we've been doing since the dawn of time. Human beings have been eating meat. There was no cancer way back 150,000 years ago, and now there is. So it probably wasn't the meat. Check out the cave paintings. Boom.
Let's go. Mic drop right there.
All right. Okay, buddy. Mark, you're going to laugh. I hope you don't laugh for 60 seconds. But this one was specifically for you. And it's funny how many times it came up. You should limit red meat and replace it with more fiber.
Oh, my God. Okay, well, where do you want me to start with this one? Ted, give me one reason why I need to eat fiber. Just one reason. There's no nutritional value in fiber. It's a non-nutrient for a reason. It pretty means that your body can't absorb it. We can absorb all the meat that we want. And this is the problem right here. You're not going to have any digestive issues whatsoever eating red meat, whereas you're going to have a load of digestive issues when it comes to fiber. And we also need to understand this. The reason why you guys are eating fiber is because your blood sugars have been spiked. We spoke about this earlier on. So yes, there's a case of adding fiber in if your diet is shit, pretty much. But if you're not on a shitty diet, your need for fiber goes all the way down. And I can assure you, I'm doing this 6 years now. I have had no issues with going to the toilet whatsoever on a meat-based diet. I can assure you.
Attaboy. Yeah. Well, that was gone in 60 seconds. I think we bust some myths. So, like, guys in the chats, let us know. Did we do a good job busting myths? We're always we can talk a pretty good talk. I know this with all of us. We have our expertises, if you will, but it's kind of nice to just put yourself on the spot and try to explain it, because how many times do we have conversations? And I'm sure James, I know you in the chats probably have these conversations with people. You got to justify yourself in a matter of seconds before they throw in all the cliches and all the bullshit.
But wouldn't you love to test yourself up against one of these experts?
Yeah.
These doctors or these fitness experts out there. You'd love to be given the chance to go on a live call with them and just see and just test and test yourself against these people. Well, I would love that.
I read a lot of blood work from my clients, family, and friends, and I ask them to ask the doctor, what is cholesterol? They won't even. They'll just mention.
They haven't got a clue.
It's the marker on the page.
Yeah, because only good and bad cholesterol. They don't talk to you about anything else. That's all that comes out of their mouth. They haven't got a clue. Because I always ask this question and they never get back to me. Ever.
And I mean, that's kind of like what we touched on with Jessica, like on Friday. The doctors spin the wheels and they don't answer anything. They lead into what they think and how it is. But when you ask them a real question about something that they might have to actually think about, it's pretty wild what they come up with. And most of the time it's just they resort to the medical. Like I got ChatGPT, man. I can answer those questions. Doctors, that's all they're doing is they're just regurgitating what they've been taught and told. And yeah. I'm not dogging doctors. They probably all got into it for the right reasons, but unfortunately, our system has been severely corrupted, and it's very obvious. So,
but you can clearly see. But you can clearly see when they do these videos, you can see that it was they had to do a lot of research before they actually did these videos. You can clearly see it.
Yeah.
Whereas if they came up against any of us, they wouldn't be able to look at these papers or go on to ChatGPT or look on Google. They would have to answer the question on the spot.
Yeah.
And you would know they would shit themselves. Yeah. They would shit themselves big time because they have nowhere to go. Yeah. But when you speak to them over the phone, all they have to do is just go on to Google, look at something, and they'll probably copy and paste it and send it to you in a message.
Yeah, and that's funny, right?
Because I get this, I get it all the time. Every time I ask these guys a question, they send me this massive paragraph of this study.
Yeah.
Honestly. And I'm like, holy shit, do you think I'm going to read this?
Because they didn't even read it. Right? They just read the headline and went,
oh my God.
And so many times, if you look at the style of this text, you will recognize these long dashes, which are typical for ChatGPT to use, that sort of stuff. And the funny thing is that people tell us to not just Google things and be our own doctor. But if you Google things and if you use ChatGPT, then you will exactly read the responses that you will get from those doctors. So it's so predictable.
And partly, I think we're going to do a show on this. I want to do it. I'm going to run it by you guys live because we are not AI. We are not AI avatars. That's one of the things. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to keep our show live. So when we have guests on, we can actually be genuine. And I mean, I use ChatGPT to help me write my descriptions. I think it's a great tool to kind of streamline your stuff. But I mean, when I went live on Instagram, that was the reason why I wanted to be able to go live, because I don't like the editing stuff is great. I've been working on some scripts and stuff, and that's one thing, but it's really nice to have open, real conversations. And I think that's something we're going to have to hold on to, because a lot of people are going the way of the AI stuff. And it's, I think it's inevitable, whether you agree with it or not. It's just the way it's going to be. So I think these conversations are very powerful, and I do enjoy them, boys. I do.
Yes, sir.
Well, guys, I think we've put in a good haul today. Let us know, guys, how you thought. Thanks, James, for that. I'm going to prompt him. I was a little bit of just to test the waters about how we did with that. So next time I'll have it a little bit more presented for the questions. You can see the questions. It'll just put more pressure on us. It'll be beautiful. But I like it. I know you boys are a wealth of knowledge.
Some scoring system, huh?
Yeah. You guys are a wealth of knowledge, and I really do enjoy our conversations because I'm always learning something, and I think that's the key. We're learning from each other, and you guys in the chats. Thanks for the questions and the comments. We do appreciate you, and if you guys could help us out with the algorithmic support, just go smash the like button. I said it. That's cliche. I tried not to be cliche, but it does really help us, and we're here every Sunday. Just come on, hang out. Lisa, we're gonna have you on, and we're gonna put you under pressure. No, I'm just kidding. We'll have you on and have a great chat. Any last words, Peter? Where can people find you?
Well, you can find me nowadays on Low Carb Perspective on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I plan to really expound on my diabetes content. Hopefully also to have some people on eventually to talk about their experiences.
Yeah.
And I also opened a place on those accounts right now on TikTok where you can ask questions. So if you have any questions, look me up on Low Carb Perspective and also Dutch Carnivore. So if you are more interested in the carnivore related stuff, then go there.
Nice. Love it. Mark?
Now, and again, the show went really, really well, guys. Another great episode. Lots of valuable information. I'm hoping a lot of people get a lot of value out of it. That's the reason why we're here. We're all here to just help you guys along your way. If you're ever struggling, or the information that you're getting at the moment and you're trying to figure it out yourself, just jump on, listen to us, and just, you never know, there might be something that we're saying that could actually help you. And if you guys want to reach out to me, I'm on social media. Just reach out to me. I'm on Instagram and TikTok at Fitness Beyond Time 01. And if you want to reach out to me directly, just send me an email at nsmark93@gmail.com.
Amazing, amazing. And yeah, thanks guys. All the chats. Like, it's nice that we have, we appreciate the community building. And I mean, that segues over to the carnivore community. I know there's a bunch of them in the chats now, but these conversations are so important. And the carnivore community has been on fire with these conversations, and you never know where they're going to go. So if you're interested or curious about this way of eating, this lifestyle, we're real people that have done things that are, quite fascinating. And that's the idea, is to bring this awareness, not to make you think that you need to go carnivore, but you know what? When you start hearing real people talk about real things, all of a sudden that other side of what we've been taught and told for generations starts to get questioned. It's amazing when these things start relating to your life.
Can I just ask as well, if any of you guys are watching and there's any topics that you want us to discuss, or if you see a video that you want us to discuss, send it on to us.
Yeah.
Because, we want to help you guys. We want to, like, if there's something in the world that we need to speak about when we haven't seen it, send it on to us. Or there's a topic, or if there's a controversial, I don't know, you saw something on the news or something like that. Anything like that, let us know, because this is what we want to do. We want to give you guys as much information as possible, and we just give you our take on it so you can actually make up your own minds.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So make sure you're subscribing to all the channels. Make sure you're following Mark, Peter, the Carnivore Evolution podcast with Victoria and Mark. It's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. It's on YouTube. Go check out. Great stories. Of course, carnivore community worldwide, we love you. We appreciate you, and always waiting for a phone call now on the Village. So, and it's kind of a chat room. So go check out the Carnivore Village on Instagram. We are live every Sunday here on YouTube, 10 a.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. in the UK and Ireland, 7 p.m. in Netherlands and in Europe. We are now on Spotify, so go check it out. All our episodes are going to be coming out within a couple days after our shows. We're trying to go live with our guests. If you're interested in coming on, come and talk to Mark specifically, or anybody, any of us, and we will get you on. We'd love to have you on. And if you'd like to reach out to me, you can find me at TonyStewartCoaching.com. I am starting a new thing where I'm going after the GLP-1s, boys. Like, this is going to, I'm going to be going after you, Oprah. Like, it's going to happen. I've had enough.
Just be kind to allulose, at least.
No, but that could be a tool, very, very powerful. But if you're looking to reach out to me, TonyStewartCoaching.com, or you can find me all over social media at Tony_Food for Thought. Thank you very much for being here. We love you. We appreciate you. And we will see you soon, if not next Sunday.
Thanks, guys. Speak soon.